Welcome to N2U, the motivational movement, a journey of transformation, growth, and purpose. This is more than just a podcast. It is a mindset, a mission, and a movement. Here we believe that life just doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Whether you are navigating the highs or the lows, the real question is, what are you going to do with the results? Each episode is packed with educational insights, motivational stories, and purpose driven conversations to help you rise, rebuild, reimagine what's possible. Because the path to beginning your best self starts when you say yes to the process and say yes to what is next in you. This is your space to reflect, recharge, and rise. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to N2U. I am so glad to be presenting this podcast to you. We're going to do a series, of very topics that hit our lives. Our first one is going to be on grief. And it's pretty much going to be like I say, a 7 to 8 episodes. So it'll be the grief series that we're going to come up and talk about. And we know that there are I say there's 8 stages, right, to grief, because you got the shock, the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the test, right? And then you've got the, oh my gosh, you got I said the bargaining, right? You got the depression, which, all of it, you think that's the worst part of it. And then you got the acceptance. And then I added like the loss. I feel like there's a loss stage where you're actually lost. So each episode will focus on each one of those stages. And let me just give you a little bit of background, because you're saying into you. And why is it called the movement? Well, it's called the movement because back in the day, I own a company called Mecca Entertainment, and we produced a talk show. It was a youth talk show called Into Youth, right? Into Youth. This is Into You. And so we pretty much, help rebuild the bridges between the young people and families and introduce them to specialists in the community to help them through all the social economical issues that they were, navigating through in life. So I feel like now it's time, with everything that we have in our lives, especially since COVID. But we know we've had life happening to us like forever. But since COVID, it has just been so dramatic, the changes that has occurred in everyone's life. So I feel it's so important to kind of talk about those life happening, things, and provide some of the tools that I use, for myself, because coming from, being a therapist for families, that's my background. I know how to pull those tools out my bag to help anyone in need, and myself. They say a therapist can't help themselves, but I use my tools, right? And the reason why I would like to choose grief being the first show that we talk about is because life happening has really happened to me. I will say since 2019, I've lost some of the most important people in my life, like the ones that you're not ready to lose anyone, but those really hard, impactful losses, right? So I lost a cousin, Cecilia, who was very, very crucial in her life. She was the cousin that let everyone know, what's happening, what type of events are going on, like the calls, and say, hey, this was going on. And then she was also the cousin that if someone was sick, she knew how to cure them. She knew what to direct them to make them feel better. We could always rely on her. She was always happy. Gosh, love her so much. And then that was like in 2019. In 2020, I lost my mom first in April, my best friend, still trying to navigate that loss, right? And then my grandmother in December, of 2020. And then here we circled around 2021, and I lost my niece. She was having her baby, and she passed away during having her baby, and she was only 29. And my nephew, who was born, made it here and traveled this world, in the hospital. He did not come out of the hospital for 6 months, and he passed away January 2022. And then in 23, my mom's best friend, who navigated me and was there for me through the loss of my mom and really helped me significantly. She passed away then in March of 2023. And then this past 2024, first my aunt in July, and then I just lost my father this past November of 2024, right before Thanksgiving. Lost my father, and then here we roll into 2025, and I lost my brother in February of 2025. I kind of was like saying, okay, I'm good. I mean, can we slow down? Can we slow down a little bit? So I think the hardest is not only that life is happening to me, but it's also happening to my 11-year-old, right? Who I have to help navigate through these losses because they were all very important to her. So um, I feel like grief is something I can tell you why, people see me smiling and, embracing this life and doing all the great things, right? And I feel like I use my tools to now. I'm not saying that pain has not hit my door, like, and broke my heart into a million pieces, but I use my tools that I would love to give to you to be able to navigate and move through those losses, to be able to get up every day with a smile, still help others, and still be my best self, and have my daughter still make straight A's, even though she's gone through so much, and be in dance and just navigate and move through, this world, even though we are missing our loved ones terribly. So, I feel like grief is going to be something that I can share with you from personal experiences, and then also show you how to handle what do you do with the results, right? What tools, to make it better, to allow you to live your best self. So I hope that all of you, I want to say that I am on Instagram, N2U, and on Instagram, it's called N2U. And also, you can see my cousin and myself, and my cousin Kim. We do Elevate and Empowering. And we do those episodes every week, Elevating and Empowering. We kind of do some real talk on that. So you'll see me on that, or you might have already seen um, some of those shows. So this year is, something I'd like to share with all of you. And I hope that it helps. It helps. And again, me coming from, being a therapist, and helping families move through painful or just tragic or troubling events, in their life, right? With relationships or whatever. I feel like that it's time for me to do that for all of you now. So I'm excited. I am looking forward to sharing, you know, all of the series, but especially this one coming up on grief. And I hope you all join me. The first we'll talk about is shock. And I may even do shock and denial together because you pretty much can use that as stage one, right? So I hope you enjoy the way that I move through each one of those stages. And I'm doing them separately because I really want you to really understand what we go through. And I want you to also understand what your body goes through when you lose someone. It could be losing someone, it could be losing a job, it could be a divorce. It could be also moving from your hometown, you have to move somewhere else. Um, a lot of different things that happen in our life can constitute for grief, right? That we go through. So, again, it's been a pleasure introducing you to N2U, and I hope you tune in for each one of these episodes. Again, series grief is coming to you. So I look forward to seeing you on our first episode of Grief, series Grief, and it's got to be shock and denial. Talk to you soon.